What's up, Crypto Crew, and welcome back. Or if this is your first time, I'm Captain Crypto Might, actively escaping the matrix, scoping out the crypto oceans. If you like your odds, get on the boat, stay up to date, thumbs up, and join the hunt.
Into the boat!
Crypto Crew, I know that you're continuing to say when spot listing, we don't know, is always going to be the answer. That said, there was a recent article by OKX describing Kaspa's features and technology. So maybe a OKX Tier 1 exchange listing is coming up soon. And what about this? Paul Barron, who's notorious for supporting XRP, went out of his way to tweet this out, quote, "Cas deserves its roses." And then he lists out a couple of features that are pro Kaspa, so shout out to Paul Barron for that. Now, today we got something a bit different from the usual. Junny Ho, Executive Director of the Kaspa Ecosystem Foundation, delivered a keynote at the My Blockchain Week 2025 in Malaysia, asking the question, is investing in crypto an art or a science? And how this relates to Kaspa with its unique approach, with its fair launch, true decentralization, and rock-solid security. Stay tuned, Crypto Crew.
Give me a second, I'll switch it up.
Prove all things, hold fast, that which is good. Before we continue, Crypto Crew, always remember to protect your crypto investments. Self-custody is key, especially during this 2025 bull run. And in my personal opinion, the Tangent Wallet is your best option. Plug and play, easy to use, and the most affordable cold storage out there. So if you wish to order your Tangent Wallet today, you can get 10% off using code CryptoCrew. Check out the link in the description box below. Thanks so much for your consideration and support in advance, and may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you all.
So for investment scientists, that they will refer investments to quantitative analysis, statistical modeling, financial mathematics, and then it comes economic theories such as an efficient market hypothesis and modern portfolio theory, as well as behavioral economics. So there's a lot of subjects of science, and you can go on this list to believe that investment is actual science. By believing it's a science, it means that you have the faith that your methodology can be improved, and through iterations, you can get a better and better result. There are also a lot of people who argue that investment is an art. And I would argue a lot of these investment artists are within those meme projects, right? They say, the most important thing in this market is the psychology and the sentiments. It's about if people have this FOMO emotion to follow up or investing their money in, and they have to read and anticipate psychological shifts in a very nuanced way. They also have to adapt this kind of contrarian thinking, because oftentimes you don't have to side with the majority of the opinions of investment, or otherwise it's impossible for you to outwing them or outpace them. The first thing that I would argue is that investment is an art of imagination and risk control in opposition to science. And the second statement I would like to have is that you can only perform this art of risk management by playing an infinite game and not a finite game. And I believe these two statements are pretty much just logically and factually true, apart from the fact that whichever project you're from. And the last thing I will talk a little bit about is that why I personally think that Kaspa is the next thing we should play, because it's in alignment with the principles of these two statements. So I want to start off with this so-called Martingale strategy, and it's actually a specific version of mutation of the St. Petersburg paradox. Basically, it says that if you lose a bet, then you will double your bet. So every time, the next time, even if you lose like for twice or thrice or 4 times consecutively, it's always the time that the next game that you can recover all your losses and result in a positive gainings. Now, I think I know a lot of the so-called crypto future or crypto perps players that kind of think this is a good strategy, because they believe that they will succeed sometimes in their 6th trials or 7th trials or 10th trial, and it's always the case that they can get a positive gainings. The argument from my side is that this is a bad strategy. It's as a derivative of the St. Petersburg paradox. It means that your expectation of return is only maximized in your last trial. So the original St. Petersburg paradox argues like this. You can toss a coin, and this game only ends until the coin flips and lands on head. It will always keep tossing and give you double the return. So it means that if it lands on the head in the first sleep, then you get $2. If it lands on the head on the second sleep, you get $4. If you land on the head in the fourth or fifth sleep, you will get $16 or $30. It is quite obvious that you always get some money here, right? Like it's either 2 for 8 or 16 or 32. But the question is, how much would you pay as a fair price for the ticket to get into this game? The experiment we run, let's say in German and US universities, argues that most people will say, we don't want to pay more than $8 or $16 as a ticket price, because most people think, the game would end before the third or fourth sleep, right? Because you can calculate the probability and you think, it's only less than 3% chance this coin will land on head only in and after the fourth sleep. They think that it's a very low probability incident. But this is pretty much an intuition, right? Because it's just, I think this is not going to happen, and it's not strictly based on science. As you can see from the graph on the right, that this kind of strategy, the Martingale strategy, the Sand-Pittsburgh paradox, is only a problem because that the infinity or infinitely large expectation of return only occurs in your last attempt. It means that you have to go with a very extreme case to get the so-called infinitely large return. It means that, for instance, if I have a perpetual BTC deal now, the expectation or expected value I may retrieve from this single time of trade is infinitely large, right? It is possible, right? If Bitcoin goes all the way up to $1 million US, and I have a perps, it can go to 1 million as well. But if you make a lot of perpetual deals, let's say you trade for like 5 times or 10 times per day, then the average expectation of your return of each of this deal is necessarily not infinitely large, right? Otherwise, you should just keep trading in whatever deals or whatever tokens. The single return expectation is different from the average return of multiple times of playing the game again. So it says if you play 8 times of the game, so in total, this total number of 8 times of games, you're expected to have $24. And if you play it for like 32 times, you're expected to earn like $160 and so on. Precisely because when you guys, or most of us, doing trades, we don't do this kind of blackboard math, right? We don't do the math proof. You are pretty much based on your feelings and quite subjective opinions. So this is an art of investing or trading instead of the science of investing and trading. And the science, however, tells you to be profitable with the art, you have to have this property of infinity, which means you have to play the game as many as possible. The next question is, how do we get the infinity? The infinity of times of playing and the infinity large return can only be assured by a decentralized structure set of the game. Now, diving into the crypto world, where these things we should be more familiar with, is that the original memes and the original POWs, the proof of work token coins, comparing to the new kind of memes launched by the bounding curve function provided by PumpFun, Launchpad, the difference is like this. So for Bitcoin or American stocks or Ethereum and also Kaspa, in my opinion, that you can play the games with infinite attempts. Because these projects, they're still feeding new technology advancements, and therefore there's new added value into the pool. And the traditional memes of the Doge coin is finite attempts, but it's still proof of work. But still, it has a longer duration of time to expect than the new memes. I think there are 2 major slumps of the markets recently. One is due to the so-called SEC allegation of Wintermute, one of the major market makers in the United States, and they have to dump all their meme tokens, which caused this entire thing. And the second slumps of the markets comes from the Binance Alpha, which for no reason the Binance Alpha listed projects or has slumps in price. What prevents you from an infinite game, playing an infinite times game, is exactly the following things. The rug pull by the project teams and security problems. For instance, that if you use a safe wallet on Ethereum, you got hacked, so the game is over. There's no more infinite times games for you to play. And following those are the centralized issues of networks. That's why I put this news of 3 validators, although it seems to be well intended to reclaim the funds from the hackers. But you have to realize this is a crazy consensus achieved by all of the 107 nodes or validators for the entire network within like a few hours to blacklist the 162 million US. And similar problems also comes from centralized nodes of sandwich attacking the traders, which happens on the BNB a lot of times. Or from centralized market maker, they dump and manipulate the price because they get the tokens at far cheaper or close to zero cost. So they can dump at whatever price they want to. And the last thing you might see is these early investors and other traders, they have conflict of interest, they play so many different roles. They are hold of the token, they promote it, they sell it to their fans and followers, and they get the money and the investors get nothing. Well, I don't think anyone can fix the problem of rug pull of project teams, but as a fair launched coin, with no pre-mine or pre-minted or actual pre-existing ownership. It allows miners to simply play as a role of validator without having any say about the assets on the network or the strategy of development of the network. And I believe there are a lot of things in Kaspa that you can discover by yourself if you believe in the tenet of playing an infinite times games.
Crypto Crew, Kaspa isn't just another crypto. It's a movement built on fairness, decentralization, security, and scalability. But always remember, Crypto Crew, the future of crypto belongs to projects that empower everyone to play the infinite game. And projects such as Kaspa are leading the way.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Shout out to Junny and the Kaspa Ecosystem Foundation. If you found value in today's vid, don't forget to subscribe, share your thoughts in the comment section below, and join the conversation. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good.
Stick around.
Fix your mind before you get to the grind. And with that said, let's continue to escape the matrix. Let's continue to be on the lookout for the next big thing on the crypto ocean. Grow in grace, and let's make some crypto waves. Say I.